Okay. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, madam.
Yes. Can you just tell me whether there is something remaining in the previous lesson? You don't have a memory about it, is that so? Finally, we did, let me check it. Last week, the topic was pragmatics and language variation and change. I'll share it with you all. Second, we did language variation and change. Okay, just check whether we completed it. The pragmatics, of course, we completed. Okay, so then here we started language variation and change. Okay, so that was the topic. Under this, we discussed variation based on social factors, variation based on region. A third one, variation due to historical factors. And then we discussed in detail how variation leads to change. When a particular variation becomes widespread, when a regional variation becomes the norm, when pronunciation shifts become ingrained. Okay, so we discuss some examples, and then importance of language variation and change. Yes, did we do these things? Dialect. So then
Yes,
dialect, yes, based on social factors, based on formality, other factors we discuss about jargon, slang.
yes, madam.
Yeah, we discussed these things. Yeah, I am just checking whether there's something remaining. What is pidgin? Okay, we have completed. So we will start a new lesson today. Okay, let me share it. Okay, hope you can see it.
Yes, madam.
Okay, language acquisition. Okay, so that is another topic in your syllabus. Language acquisition is a major area in language studies. So do you have any idea about language acquisition? Have you heard of this? No idea?
Yes, madam.
You don't have an idea? Okay, we'll see language acquisition. At least you might have heard of the term. So this is a huge area in the field of linguistic actually. Okay, yeah, simply read, then we will discuss. Okay, when you finish reading, let me know.
Okay, madam.
Okay, so language acquisition in general. Okay, so first we'll talk about in general, then we'll go deep into the topic. Language acquisition refers to the complex process by which humans develop the ability to perceive, understand, and use language for effective communication. Okay, just think about it. Okay, language acquisition refers to the complex process. So language acquisition is a complex process. In this process, human develop the ability to perceive. Perceive is similar to understand actually. Perceive, understand, both are same. Perceive, understand, and use language for effective communication. Okay, so it is not just about memorizing vocabulary or grammar rules. Okay, so we certain time memorize certain vocabulary and grammar rules, but acquisition is not memorizing. It's about acquiring the entire system of a language. So language acquisition in general refers to the acquiring the entire system of a language. This entire system includes phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. So we have completed these 5 components. Now tell me whether you are clear with this.
Yes, madam.
Phonology, that is about the pronunciation. Simply we'll say like that. Morphology is about formation of words. Syntax about grammar and how words are arranged in an order. Semantic means meaning. Pragmatics means how meaning differs according to the context. Okay, so we have done these things in detail. So today we are going to start language acquisition. Language acquisition in general means acquiring the entire system of a language. Now are you clear?
Yes, madam.
Sorry, okay. So it's not memorizing words and grammar rules. It's acquiring. Okay, we'll see. So there are certain basic concepts of language acquisition. So as students who are learning linguistic, so you should have a proper idea about these basic concepts of language acquisition. Okay, so in this slide you can see one. Yeah, you can read it.
Okay, madam.
Okay, so then universal grammar. Have you heard of something called universal grammar? So we'll be learning about it further. So as students who are learning the subject languages and linguistics, so you should be familiar with these terms, of course. Okay, have you heard of something called universal grammar? Once at least in your lifetime? You have no idea. Is that so? Okay. So learning something that you don't know is good actually. Okay. Universal grammar is a theory in linguistics that proposes that humans have a biological predisposition for language acquisition. It's a kind of theory. In this theory, it is believed that biologically, you know what biologically? Human beings, they have some sort of predisposition for language acquisition. So in other words, biologically, human beings are ready for language acquisition. If you were born as a human being, if somebody was born as a human being, that person is having a capability biologically to acquire a language. Okay, so that may be common to any person anywhere in the world. So we were born here in Sri Lanka. So we belongs to different ethnic communities, different religious communities. Irrespective of all these things, when we are born, we are coming to this world with the ability of acquiring a language. So that is the base of the theory universal grammar. This means that our brains are pre-wired with some basic grammatical principles that form the foundation for learning any language. Okay, so then I'm a Sinhalese. So I know there are Muslims, there are Tamils. Okay, so then as I was born to a Sinhalese family, I started learning Sinhalese language. But my learning of Sinhalese language, it acts as a foundation for learning any other language. So then Sinhalese is not the only language I can talk and I can use actually. I'm okay with English also. And here all of you, you and I, we all are capable of handling minimum 2 languages. Okay, so that is the meaning of the second sentence. This means that our brains are pre-wired with some basic grammatical principles that form the foundation for learning any language. So just imagine we happen to be there in another country where a new language, that means unknown language is spoken. But if we go there and stay there for a certain time, we have a possibility to learn that language. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So under universal grammar also, there are certain ideas. Yeah, we'll be familiar with them.
Okay, madam.
Okay. So then there are some key ideas about universal grammar. So then one of them is core grammar. Core subjects, optional subjects like that. Core is an adjective. The meaning is important, so compulsory, or the most essential, like that. The theory suggests that all human languages share some core grammatical principles, even though they may differ in vocabulary and sentence structure. So there are there is a large number of languages around the world. So then if you take a country like India, nearly more than 800 languages are spoken. So even though these languages differ in vocabulary and sentence structure, when it comes to grammatical principles, there are some common things. So that is the meaning of core grammar. All human languages share some core grammatical principles. These principles might include things like the distinction between nouns and verbs. All the languages, there are something called nouns, something called verbs. And nouns and verbs are different in any language. The subject, verb, object, word order, SVO, that is English, SOV, that is Sinhala, Tamil, being a common pattern, or the existence of grammatical categories like tense and negation. Okay, so then if I brief it once again, whatever the language, all these languages are having some common things, common grammatical structures, grammatical components, just like nouns. Nouns are there in all the languages. Verbs are there. Subject, verb, object arrangement is there. And then there are tenses. There are negation, the negative idea, just like in English, I don't, we can't. Okay, those ideas are there in any language. That is the meaning of core grammar. Is it clear? So then in English, we learn nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, noun phrases, verb phrases. Don't you have them in your language, your mother tongue? Okay, so then even in English, Sinhala, Tamil, Burger, in all the languages, there are nouns. There are something's called verbs, adjectives, adverbs. Okay, like that, core grammar. And then innate constraints.
Okay, madam.
Okay, so then Then another concept idea is innate constraints. Universal grammar UG doesn't claim that all languages are the same. So then the theory, the universal grammar, it doesn't say all languages are same. Instead, it proposes that there are limitations or constraints on what a human language can be like. So there can be limitations, or else there can be constraints on what a human language can be like. These constraints guide language acquisition and prevent the creation of illogical or nonsensical grammar systems. So in every language, grammar system is there for us to help to communicate meaningfully. So if there's no something called grammar, the utterances which we are using, they will be nonsensical. Okay, see. Okay, so you know what the meaning of innate? So what is the meaning of innate? Anybody? Do you have an idea about innate? Okay, so then
Natural.
sorry?
It's like natural, ma'am.
Natural, yes. Innate talents, inborn. In Sinhala we call sahaja. Okay. So the same way, all languages are having innate constraints. Something which are very natural. Okay, that is something then.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Poverty of the stimulus argument. Okay, so then don't worry about the term. We'll understand what is there. A key supporting argument for universal grammar is the poverty of the stimulus. So what is this? Children learn complex grammatical structures faster and more accurately than the amount of explicit grammatical information they are exposed to would seem to allow. Okay, so then sometimes we also have noticed children, they learn, think about the mother tongue, not English, huh? Very complex grammatical structures very quickly. This suggests that children are not simply imitating what they hear, but rather using their innate grammatical abilities to make sense of the language input they receive. Okay, so we know, we say that children learn language through exposure. Whatever it is, there are certain places where we can see students in the sense children, they use very complex and they learn very quickly some complex grammatical structures than certain small things. Okay, you might have heard some parents are calling others and showing, see how this small girl is talking. This very complex grammatical structures, they nicely use. So linguists, they say the reason for that is we have innate grammatical abilities. But we discussed this one. Innate grammatical abilities are there in all human beings. So that is why even small children, they use very complex grammatical structures without any trouble. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Okay, even though universal grammar is something very popular in the field of linguistics, languages and linguistics, there are some criticism against it. Okay, see what they are.
Okay, madam.
Okay, I'm waiting until you inform me you finished reading. Yeah, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah,
Madam,
okay. Something happened. Okay, anyway, we'll
yeah,
see.
madam.
Okay. Criticism of universal grammar. Oversimplification. Okay. Criticism, simplification. It's becoming very simple. But this simplification is too much. So that is one criticism against universal grammar. Critics argue that universal grammar oversimplifies the complexity and diversity of human languages. Okay, so then we know there are different languages, and these languages are having lots of dissimilarities. That means differences. But universal grammar, it focuses on the similarities of these languages. They say all the languages are same. So it's a kind of oversimplification. Some languages do deviate from the supposed universal. Yeah, so there are some languages, they are just like sky and the earth. So that much far. Okay, so the oversimplification is the biggest complaint against universal grammar. So there may be some similarities, but still there are many more differences among languages. And then the next one is nature was nurture debate. The debate on the relative influence of nature and nurture environment continues. Okay, so then the nature means genes, genetically. We can learn a language. When universal grammar suggests a strong innate component, the environment undoubtedly plays a crucial role in shaping language acquisition. Okay, so then it says we have some inborn talents to learn a language. At the same time, it focuses on the environment. The nurture means environment. So according to the environment also, language gets lots of influences. Okay, so if you are there in an environment where you have lots of access to many languages, you will learn more languages. Okay. So then here, what you need to understand is there is something called universal grammar. Okay, so the universal grammar is a very important basic concept of language acquisition. So we all acquire languages. So universal grammar theory, it says we all can acquire languages because there is something very common among all these languages. So that is why we can learn more languages. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, madam.
Oh, if it is not clear, you just tell me, but my purpose is to make you familiar with the term universal grammar. Okay, so if somebody asks you, what is this idea, universal grammar, you should have some idea. Okay, then we'll go to another one, stages of language acquisition. Okay, read that.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Stages of language acquisition. So we are talking about language acquisition today, okay? So there are certain stages of language acquisition. The stages of language acquisition refer to the predictable sequence children go through as they learn their first language. So here we are referring not to English language, the first language. Okay. So there are certain stages children should go through when they are acquiring a language. It's a remarkable process where they develop the ability to understand and use language for communication, starting from basic sounds all the way to complex sentences. Okay, so we all know, we all have learned and acquired languages. We know we have to start with simple things and we have to go to complex things. Okay, so these are the stages. See.
Okay, madam.
Okay, stage 1, that is called crying stage actually. Birth to 3 months. Newborn communicate mainly through crying, which can signal different needs such as hunger, discomfort, or loneliness. Okay, you all have seen this. I know that you all are not mothers or parents. I mean the fathers, but whatever it is, you have seen how small babies communicate. The babies less than 3 months old. So they use crying as a weapon, as a way of communicating. So when they are hungry, they will cry. When they are discomfort, they will cry. When they are alone, they will cry. So stage 1, the communication is basically crying, birth to 3 months. And then comes stage 2, cooing and, sorry, cooing and gargling, 3 to 6 months. So from 3 months to 6 months, babies begin to experiment with their vocal cords, producing vowel sounds like oo and like that. Okay. So cooing and gurgling. So they can't properly make sounds, but using their vocal cords, they try to form certain sounds. That is second stage, 3 to 6 months. And see this.
Okay, madam.
Yes. Stage 3, that is called babbling, 6 months to 12 months. Babies start to combine sounds to form consonant vowel syllables like ba, ba, or ga, ga. They may also start to imitate sounds they hear around them. Okay, so think about small babies around 6 to 12 years old. So they are trying to combine sounds. Then comes stage 4, single word. 12 months to 18 months. That means 1 year to 1.5 years. babies begin to understand and use their first words, typically starting with labeling familiar objects or people. So during this stage, they will start uttering single words. And they are also about familiar objects or people. They,
Okay, madam.
okay. Stage 5, 2-word stage. Okay, 1.5 year to 2 years. Toddlers start to combine words from simple phrases like mojos, bye-bye, like that. 2-word. Stage 6 is telegraphic speech, age 2 to 3. Children use short sentences that resemble telegrams, focusing on the most important words to convey their message. Sentence grammar is not yet fully developed. Okay, they are called telegraphic speech. You know, in a telegram, in a special message, we don't write everything. It's just a combination of 2-3 words. So here also children use short sentences to communicate. And sentence grammar is not yet fully developed. So then full sentence communication cannot be done. That is stage 6.
Okay, madam.
Yes. Stage 7, more complex speech, 3 to 7 years. Children's sentences become more grammatically complex and they begin to use a wider range of vocabulary. They can ask questions, have conversations, and tell stories. So that is the highest stage. So then after this, it is continuing, okay? Continuing with the same. It's important to remember that these stages are general guidelines and children may progress at their own pace. Okay, so these 7 stages are based on the majority of children. Okay, but actually there can also be variations depending on the individual child and their environment. But some students may skip these stages depending on the individual child and their environment. According to their environment, we can't say all the students between this age group 3 to 7, they are like this. It's not like that. There are some learners who are faster. There are some learners who are slower. Hari, okay. So up to now, is it clear? Yes. So what
Yes,
we discuss, I'll go to the beginning. foundation concepts of language acquisition. So that's what we are going to learn. So there are some foundation concepts. One is universal grammar. Second one is stages of language acquisition. Okay, so that is that. So then we are moving to another topic. Theories of language acquisition. Okay, just read and understand.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Theories of language acquisition attempts to explain the fascinating process by which humans, particularly children, learn their first language. So then language acquisition is a major area of linguistics. So there are certain theories about how children learn their first language. These theories are based on how children learn their first languages. These theories offer different perspectives on the underlying mechanism and factors that contribute to this remarkable ability. Okay, all these theories are not same. These theories are different, and they present different ideas about language acquisition. Some of the famous theories are behaviorism, nativism, cognitive theories, interactionist approach. There are many. Okay, we'll discuss some of them. So these are theories which talk about language acquisition. Okay, first theory is behaviorism.
English when I watch series with subtitles is this high.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Behaviorism. Behaviorism is a theory of learning that states all behaviors are learned through conditioned interaction with the environment. Okay, so behaviorism is a major theory in the field of education. So this theory says all behaviors are learned through conditioned interaction with the environment. So we learn lots of behaviors since our birth. So all these things are conditions, interactions with the environment. They are the result of our interaction with the environment. Thus, behavior is simply a response. Wait, battery is very slow. A response to environment stimuli. Okay, so behavior is simply a response. So behavior is a response to environmental stimuli. Stimuli means some sort of stimulation given in the environment. Okay, when the environment is giving us different stimulations, we respond. So there can be different behaviors. The behaviorist theory is only concerned with observable stimulus response behaviors, as they can be studied in a systematic and observable manner. So then we have lots of behaviors, and some behaviors are physical, some are internal, mental. Okay, so then when a person is angry and when he is throwing everything here and there, we can see. But there are some other people, when they get angry, physically we can't see anything. Their anger is inside their mind. Okay, under behaviorism theory, we are focusing only on observable behavior only, because other behaviors we cannot observe. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay. We'll read further.
Okay, madam.
Okay. So focus on observable behavior. Unlike other theories that delve into internal mental status, behaviorism focuses solely on what we can see and measure the behaviors organisms exhibit. Okay, so there are some theories, they focus on internal mental status. Internal, so they are, for an example, what is that? Cognitivism. Cognitivism is a theory which speaks about our brain function, how our brain works, when we in the process of language acquisition. Okay, but this theory, behaviorist theory, it focuses only on the observable behavior. Then learning through conditioning. Behaviorists believe learning happens through conditioning, a process where the consequences of a behavior influence whether it is repeated. So it is interesting actually. So then behaviorism believes that learning happens through conditioning. So conditioning is interaction with the environment, a process where the consequences of a behavior influence whether it is repeated. Okay, so I will give you one example. When we do something, just imagine everybody was appreciating us. You did something, then everyone was appreciating you. Don't you feel doing similar things again and again? So when we are appreciated for the task we did, we feel doing more tasks like that. So that is what is meant by where the consequences of a behavior influence whether it is repeated. The behavior will be repeated if the consequences are positive. So, to encourage small kids when they do something good in small quantity, in small scale even, we highly appreciate them. You are very good and you are a clever child like that. So then they will do or they will continue it further. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay, we'll see this one.
Okay, madam.
Okay. So then when we were talking about behaviorism, so there are some persons who contributed to this theory. So one such figure is B.F. Skinner. So then he came up with behaviorism in between 1904 to 1990. So that was the duration that he was living actually. So he came up with this behaviorism, Skinner, a theory that emphasizes learning through conditioning. So then conditioning, we got to know about behaviorism. Human beings learn behavior through their interactions with the environment. Okay. So then there are some core principles of behaviorism. Stimulus response. Yeah, read that. And don't get excited with these things, huh?
Okay, madam.
Oh, okay. Stimulus response. This principle suggests that external cues or stimuli trigger our reaction. Okay, so then for us to react, there should be some external trigger. You know, triggers are there in weapons. If it is a pistol or gun, there is a trigger. When we drag it only, the bullet will go out. So so I just wanted to explain you the meaning of trigger. Okay, so when we get some trigger from the environment, we will react. For an example, just imagine we are just walking under the sun. So then all of a sudden it started raining. So when 1, 2, 3 raindrops fell on our body, what shall we do? Are we walking slowly, or are we running, or are we just going to cover our body to a shelter? Okay, so then we want to escape from the rain. So we don't want to get wet in the rain. Okay, so then the trigger is falling of rain water. Our reaction was going to a place where we will not get wet. Okay, so then once again, another example. Imagine a bell ringing before you get food. Make you salivate in anticipation. So then you are having your breakfast. We'll say like that. So then your work start by 8:30. But now you are still having your breakfast. But then the bell was ringing. Okay, so now you will change your way of having meal. Or maybe you quickly will just put everything into your mouth and then we'll drink some water and run to work. Something similar to that. Okay, there should be a stimulus. Then only we will respond. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
So without a stimuli, there cannot be a response. Check whether you got it. Okay, is it clear? These are very simple things actually. So then we react or we respond when we are getting some stimuli. So when you stretch your hands to a lamp, okay, when you stretch your point finger to a lamp, you get it the warmth, and then you will take your finger back. Stimuli is the lamp and the flame, and your response is taking your finger back, just like that. Okay, next. Okay, did you read it?
Yes, madam.
Yes, reinforcement. The consequences of our responses play a crucial role. Okay, so then when we get some stimuli, we will respond. And then consequences of our responses play a crucial role. Sometimes we will repeat the same response. Positive consequences like praise or reward strengthen the connection between the stimuli and the desired response, making it more likely to be repeated. Okay, so then if the consequences we received is something positive, there is a tendency for us to repeat it. Okay, so if we are getting very positive consequences for our responses, we'll be repeating the same. Conversely, negative consequences weaken this connection. Okay, so just imagine when a small child did something bad, the parents punished him. Okay, so then the child will not be repeating it. Is it clear? Okay, is it clear? So you have to, yes, if it is not clear, you have to communicate.
Madam, can you explain it again?
Reinforcement. Is that so?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, okay. I'll explain. Listen. The consequences of our responses play a crucial role. So then when we respond, responses is the noun, respond is the verb. When we respond, there will be some consequences. Okay, so then when we perform something, there will be some consequences. So when these consequences are positive, there is a tendency to repeat the same response. When we receive some negative consequences for a response, we will not be repeating it. So that is the idea. I will explain it in an easy way. So just imagine when you are walking along the road, the person who was walking in front of you, without his knowledge, his purse fell down. Okay, so you just pick it up and return to that person. Okay, so then that person appreciated you a lot. You are a marvelous person. Other people will not return a purse during this period. People are having problems. They also don't want money, but you are such a nice guy, like that. When you get such positive consequences, you may repeat it again and again. So then you are an adult. Just imagine a small child did something and he was praised for what he did. Then he will repeat similar thing. At the same time, when somebody received a negative consequences, that person will never repeat it. Okay, so then just imagine like this, a small child, same example we'll say, when he picked the purse and when he handed it over to the man, he blamed the man who handed it over to him. You are a thief, you have taken my purse from my pocket, and so now you are just giving it to me as if it fell down. Just like that, if the man is blaming, you will never do that. Is it clear?
Yes, madam, understood. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. My throat is also not good. I'm not well actually. Okay, now we'll go to another theory, cognitivism.
Finish, madam.
Okay. Cognitivism. Cognition, it refers to brain. The learning theory of cognitivism concentrates on how a person's mind receives, organizes, and saves and retrieves information. Okay, so then cognitivism, the theory of language learning, it talks about how our brain function in language learning. Okay, so then our brain receives, organizes, saves, and retrieves information. So all the information which we take in different ways goes to our mind. The cognitive theory believes that the human mind functions like an information processor or computer. So we are living in a world where artificial intelligence plays a major role. AI, ChatGPT, all these things are there. But whatever it is, there's no any instrument which can be equal to, or which can be made equal to human brain. The complexity of human brain is more complex than the complexity of a computer. Therefore, the cognitivist approach looks beyond noticeable behavior, considering learning as an internal mental process. Okay, behaviorism we just discussed. Behaviorism is observing observable behavior, but we can see. But cognitivism theory focuses on unnoticeable behavior. That means it focuses on brain. Okay, theory of behaviorism is about noticeable behavior, observable behavior. But the theory of cognitivism, it focuses on unnoticeable behavior. That means behavior of our brain. Is it clear? Yes, is it difficult? Behaviorism is about our behavior through our encounter with the environment. Okay, so then cognitivism is about our behavior, or else our brain function actually. Unnoticeable behavior. So without our knowledge, we can't see. Our brain received information about language, and they are organized in the brain. They are saved in the brain. When and where we need, the knowledge is taken out from the brain. But none of these things are visible. They are not visible. So cognitivism theory talks about unnoticeable, unobservable behavior. If it is not clear, you can ask. Okay, next. Okay, did you read this?
Yes, madam.
Harry, okay. So then Jean Piaget, he is the person who proposed this cognitivism theory. Jean Piaget, he was born in 1896 and died in 1980. Piaget proposed that learners actively construct their understanding of the world through stages of cognitive development. Okay, so Piaget, Jean Piaget, he told learners actively construct their understanding of the world. Okay, so then in the process of understanding the world, learners are very active. Understanding of the world through stages of cognitive development. So there are different stages of cognitive development. So during these different stages, they understand the world. He emphasized the importance of schemas, mental frameworks for organizing knowledge. So schema theory is another theory actually. So that's about how our brain acquire information, store them, and reuse them when and where it necessary. Okay, so then there is another person who is important in this theory, that is Vygotsky, Lev Vygotsky. And then he was talking about a concept called zone of proximal development, ZPD. Okay, so then don't get confused with this ZPD. That means there is a gap between what a learner can do independently and what she can do or achieve under the guidance or collaboration. So that gap is called zone of proximal development. Okay, so then just take a small child. There are certain things that this child can do individually. But just imagine parents and teachers are supporting him. Then he can do something bigger than early. So there is a gap between what a student can do individually and what a student can do with the support of the teacher or parents. That gap is called zone of proximal development. Check whether you understood it. There are some new concepts today. Okay, any question? Okay, so then we'll go to this also. Then I will share these things, then you can read them and then we will touch them again. Okay, just see. Okay. Okay, we'll go to here, this one. Core principles of cognitivism. There are some basic important concept of cognitivism. One is schema. We learn by fitting new information into existing mental frameworks. So schema means, daily we receive information. And the new information we receive will go and store in already processed information in our brain. Okay, so we can't see it, but we can understand. So in our brain, there are some knowledge which we have already taken. So when we acquire a new knowledge, it too will go and deposit on the earlier ones. If something doesn't fit, we modify our schema to accommodate the new information. Okay, so sometimes the new information we received is not very clear. So what happens? Our brain function with the previous knowledge to understand it. Okay, that is schema. So schema is a concept. So then our brain daily, when we talk, when we listen, when we read, when we write, we receive knowledge. And all these things are deposited in our brain. Then constructivism is another theory there. Constructivism is a theory. Learners actively construct their understanding of the world through experiences and interaction. They are not passive recipient of information. Okay, so then there was a theory called positivism before constructivism. So we are talking about language learning, language acquisition. So there are different theories about how languages are acquired. So under the theory of positivism, it was believed the students are empty vessels. The students' heads, when they come to school, they are empty vessels. Nothing is there inside. What teachers do is to fill these empty vessels with their knowledge. Okay, but that theory was rejected because constructivism came. Constructivism is with the opinion that children are not empty vessels. When they come to school, they have some knowledge inside their brain. What teachers are doing is constructing new knowledge on existing knowledge. Okay, check whether you got it.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Okay, this one also we'll talk. Okay, zone of proximal development. That is about learning happens most effectively within the zone of proximal development. This is the range of challenges slightly beyond learners' independent capabilities, but achievable with support. So earlier I told you about this. Zonal proximal development means the gap between what learner can do individually and what learner can do with the support of the teachers. Scaffolding from a teacher or more skilled peers. Okay, so then just think about the student. There is something that she can do individually, but with the support of the teacher or with the support of his or her peers. So the child, what she can do is different. And there is a gap between these two. That is called zone of proximal development. Okay, so then it goes. I will do a small summary of what we did today. Otherwise, these things will be too much for you. Okay, so now listen. Our topic is language acquisition. That is a major topic. Okay, the simply language acquisition means acquiring the entire system of a language. Phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. So acquiring all these things of a language is called language acquisition. So if you say I have acquired English language, you should be okay with phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics of English language. Okay, so then when you talk about language acquisition, there are certain concepts that you should be familiar with. One such concept is universal grammar. Okay, so then universal grammar is also a kind of theory. It says our human mind or the human beings are biologically ready for language learning. Okay, we know the dogs, other animals, they can't learn a language like us. They may be having a way of communicating. That is something else. But we human beings are born with the talent to learn a language. Okay, that is universal grammar. There are some core ideas of universal grammar. Universal grammar. One is core grammar. It says, even though there are different languages of the world, all these languages are having some common grammatical functions, such as all languages are having verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs like that. All languages are having that. And then innate constraints. Okay, so then so there are certain things which are inborn, like, okay, so then in all the languages, because of this innate constraint, illogical and nonsensical grammar systems are not accepted. Okay, so then automatically we don't know how we speak correctly. Now think about your mother tongue. The small child will not say kanawa, but mama or something like that. So then even a small child knows I eat rice. That is because of some innate constraint. Then we learned about this poverty of stimulus argument. That means some small kids, they learn some complex grammar structures very quickly. Okay, so it suggests that children are not imitating what they hear, but at the same time, they are having some innate ability to learn language. Okay. And then we discuss about criticism to universal grammar. Some people say it oversimplifies the thing. And then there's another allegation. Okay, so the universal grammar focuses on innate components, inborn biological talent. But at the same time, we know environment also plays a major role in language learning. But universal grammar focuses only on the biological innate factor. Okay, just imagine we all are born with the talent of learning a language, just like that. We can be, that is correct. But just imagine we happen to be there in a jungle where there are no people. Do you think that we will use a language? No, there should be some environmental factors. And then we discuss stages of language acquisition. We discuss 7 stages. Okay. Then we came to theories of language acquisition. There are many theories and you got confused there actually. I think so. The first theory we discussed, it was behaviorism. So then behaviorism says human beings learn behaviors with their interaction with the environment. Okay, so under behaviorism, we are focusing only on the observable behavior. So we can't observe the unobservable behavior. And the key figure there is Skinner. And then stimulus response and reinforcement we were discussed. And then we came to cognitivism. Cognitivism is a theory about language learning actually. It focuses more on unobservable behavior. Behaviorism is focusing on observable behavior. Cognitivism is talking about unobservable things. That is about our brain function. We can't see it. The person who found this, he was Jean Piaget, and even Vygotsky contributed it. Then under core principles of cognitivism, we were talking about schema theory. And then constructivism. The schema is about how our brain function in language processing, language learning. Constructivism is about how students are acquiring a language. Learners actively construct their understanding of the world through experiences and interactions. This is what we discussed last. Zone of proximal development. That means there is a gap between what a student can do individually and what a student can do with the support of teachers and peers. And those are the things we discussed today. I know there were certain tough things, but you need to go for a summary. You have to go for a short note. Then your learning will be very clear. Okay. what's the time now? Is it 9:30? Yeah. Okay. So then we will continue the lesson. I will share this, then you can go through it, and we will continue this next week. Okay. What is your idea? The lesson is a bit tough. I accept it, but we can't do simple things every day. So it is also a complex process. So we are talking about this complex process. Okay. Shall we wind up the session for today?
Okay, madam.
Okay, then good night.
Good night.
Ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome.